Hi, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined us today. Today is March 11th, and it's 10:30 a.m. here Central Time in Lubbock, Texas. And I am Kelly Pitts, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the Lubbock area. Love to be here. I'm lucky to be able to help people all over the U.S. with any of your Stampin' Up! Needs. So if you fall in love with any of the products I'm using today, I do sell them on my online store, and you can go through my blog at createwithkelly.com. You just have to spell Kelly, K-E-L-L-E-Y, the right way. Don't mean to offend anybody else who spells it different. But anyway, glad you're here today, whether you're watching live on YouTube or live on Facebook, or if you're watching a replay. I'm happy to have you. I am excited to be presenting another card in my gorgeous Ginkgo class to go that's coming up. And if you haven't seen my email about it, I would love for you to subscribe to my mail through my MailChimp. I can send that to you if you want to private message me or text me or call me or whatever. I'll send you the link for that. Or you can just subscribe at my blog, createwithkelly.com, and you'll get all the info. I've already posted some information about the class on my blog, and then I've sent out emails to those who are in the local area who might want to come pick up their kits. But I've got a couple of options. We're going to make at least 6 cards. I'll have a PDF tutorial that would include a 7th card that we've already made on another video. So it's exciting. I love this set. I love the combination of the Texture Chic Designer Series paper that we're using with the Ginkgo Branches bundle. And I'll show you that really quickly. Let's see. Here's the card that we're going to be making today. And you'll see it closer up in just a minute. Let's switch these out, shall we? Let's see if this will let us just switch. There we go. Okay, here's the front. It does fold flat and fit in an envelope. And then you open it up and it is just gorgeous. Oh my heavens, this distressed gold paper is incredible. And y'all can see this fine shimmer. Look at that. And it looks like it would be rough, but it's really soft and silky smooth. So that's what we're making today. And this is the Texture Chic paper. I'm glad I already have Carol joining, and she's a new one from Georgetown, Texas. So glad you're here today, Carol. You've got a little bit better weather than we do. It's going to be about 63 here for a high, and you've got an 87. That's pretty warm already. So glad you found me. I don't know how you found me. Do you have a friend there who knows me, Carol? Okay, we're going to look at our dies. I want to be sure and show you all the goodies that we'll use today. Here is the Ginkgo Branch bundle by Stampin' Up! And this is all in the mini catalog. Let me show you that first. This is on page 57 of the mini catalog. And this is the purple one that is good through April. This is the seasonal catalog, January through April. And the Ginkgo Branch bundle has the dies that we used last week on the video. If you're interested in seeing some more, we did this stamped version in kind of a pinkish tone. And it's got some great greetings and a wonderful label that fits a lot of our sentiments. So that's the stamp set. The bundle itself is 160469, and that whole bundle with all the dies and the stamp set is $53 plus tax and shipping. So the dies, we have the big one that cuts out the stamped image. This just outlines that, cuts it out. And then this one cuts this image. That one cuts that image. Plus we've got the label that is a standalone, but it fits all of the greetings here. You just have to cut it down for the smaller ones. And then we have these 2 gorgeous detail dies that are just beautiful. And I have used those on this card too. We use the stamp version and the detailed die version on here. So that's the Ginkgo Branch bundle. And if you're considering buying that bundle, look at my class, because it includes, if you buy the bundle, you get the class kits for free, basically, and some other goodies too. So, well, you buy the bundle and some other goodies, and then some of the texture sheet dies and all that. All right. And then we are using the season. Let's see, we're using these, the Stylish Shapes dies, 159183. We're using the largest square on those. And what else are we using? We are using the You Are Amazing Beyond Measure. We've got that sentiment. And then actually, I think we're going to not use that one today. That's one we used on this card. So I decided to use a little bit different one on the one we'll do today. So there you go. There's our stack of goodies. We also have the Texture Chic 12 by 12 paper. This is from a whole different suite. And this is in the annual catalog. This number is 158808. And it just has some gorgeous papers in the pinkish tones, mango, has some evening evergreen, soft succulent. It's just lovely. And we'll be using it on some other cards in this Ginkgo branch Class to Go series too. This is a Distressed Gold 12 by 12, 159237. Look at that. Whoa! It's amazing. It is just beautiful. I highly recommend getting you some. And then the Fine Shimmer paper, 160428. This is also from the mini catalog that we just discussed, and it has the fresh freesia and gold and the soft succulent. So I think that's about all of that we're going to do. So let's get out our little card kit, and we will go ahead and stamp first, I think. We'll go ahead and do that. Got everything, all of our little goodies ready. Okay. I've got, this takes the largest block that we have, which I don't have that number handy or that letter of what the block is, but it is our biggest one. So if you have problems with arthritis and all that, which is, of course, I'm starting to get some of that, but I can still handle a block. If you can't hold a big block like this that's heavy, you can use our Stamparatus. So that works just as well, if not better, because you have a second shot at getting it right. Okay. Let's get this out. And I think soft succulent is what I used on here, but I am not 100% sure. And I'm going to get, let me just put I think I'm going to do a little more detail on here than I did on this card. So I'm going to switch this back over to this screen and put the card back up. And then I'm going to run get a sponge dauber. I just thought about that. I thought I'll show you all the difference when we do a little bit more detail. All right, I'm already back. We have, if some of y'all have been here before for crafting, you know, I've got kind of two rooms that are separated and have a bathroom in the middle. So that's why I call it the craft suite. It's not really much of a suite, but it's fun. It has two rooms and a bathroom in between. It's like a little Jack and Jill. So that's where I do my local classes. But I had to run in there and get my little sponge dauber that I decided to add. Okay, let's get some grid paper so I won't make a huge mess on my desk here. We got a lot going on. Okay, let's get that out of the way so y'all can see a little better. We're going to take the soft succulent And we're taking the ink pad to the stamp. Usually when they're this large, that's what you want to do. That makes it a lot easier. It's hard to hold the block up and get everything covered otherwise. Okay, we're going to go back in with a little bit of Evening Evergreen. That was Soft Succulent. And with the sponge daubers, we're going to go, I'm going to go kind of at the base of these, just a little bit. You can see I'm doing just kind of the edge here and the base at the bottom of each one. And it may hit the top of another one. And we're just going to see. We're just going to play today. Let's see, so I can look up at you. We're going to do that again. There we go. That way I feel like I see you when I look up. Y'all can see me. If this isn't close enough, y'all let me know in the comments. And please do comment when you tune in. Would love to know who you are and where you're from. Okay, so there's a little of the darker. This already has some gradation between the light and the dark just on the stamp set itself, even if you just use one color. But I thought we would. I believe this one is just Soft Succulent, and you can see all the variety of color there is there. Isn't that beautiful? So now we're trying this with the Evening Evergreen, and we're going to do another little technique here where you can take the Stampin' Right markers, and this is the Stampin' Right and not the blends. The blends don't work like this. They're alcohol based, and they just don't work as well when you're trying to do it on the rubber. But I'm just going back in and coloring just the stems. And if we don't like this one or made it too dark or something, we can always come back and do it like I did the first time, where I didn't do the sponge daubering on the first one. I went in and did this on the stems. And this is not going to be perfect because the stems don't go all the way to the next flower from one to the other, if that makes sense. So we're going to just see if we can get all these coated well. I just kind of wanted to see if we like the two-tone ink there. Got it? I think we've got all the stems covered. That one needs a little bit more. Okay, now since it's been a little bit since we stamped this initially with the Soft Succulent, you need to huff on it or blow on it or whatever you want to call it to re-moisten the dye, re-moisten the stamp. Not the dye, but the stamp. Okay. And we're going to use some pressure. This is a big, heavy stamp. Like I said, a stamp block. It's a big stamp and a heavy stamp block. So even though it's cushioned, I still like to use my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath. Y'all may not. You definitely need it on photopolymer stamps, but you don't need it as much on the clean stamps, but I like to do that. All right, I think we've got about as much as we're going to get there. Woo, look at that. Totally changed the colorway. Look at that. Can you see the difference in just the Soft Succulent by itself and then the Soft Succulent with the Evergreen? Do y'all like that just as well? Or I think that's going to be just as pretty on the card and have a little bit different look. What do you think? Okay, we will clean that off real quickly with our little chamois. Whoop, shaking the table. Sorry about that. I'll pick it up. All right, ready to move on. Okay, we're going to get our Stampin' Cut and Die, Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out. And you always make a sandwich. You have your main platform here, that's platform number 1. And then when you're using dies, you use the number 2 also, and it gives you instructions on the plates. Then we'll make our little sandwich with here's your piece of bread. We will get our little piece of cheese and meat. Okay, there's our meat and cheese. And you just line this up. You just play with it till you get it just right around the outline. So you kind of got an even. I better stand up. See if I can see this. Hopefully. Oh, y'all are looking at my chin. I should turn that off. Whew, nobody needs to see that. All right. Hope you're having a lovely day so far. Or hope you have some good plans this weekend. Okay, we're just lined that up, and I'm cutting the label at the same time. I just did a lot of times if I've got several things to cut, I do just a quarter sheet of the white, because that's easier to just cut it all out of one, and then you don't have to cut a lot of different sizes of the white just to do your work. Okay, we've got that. And I have already die cut the gold detail. And I wanted to show you, we could go ahead and do it again. Why don't we? While y'all are here, I need to show you how to line this up. And it's probably, if we're going to do that much, we need to just go ahead and show you the whole thing. Okay, so we're still going to use our platform and our number 2 plate. And this is, I was really, really stingy with this. I will be on the class with this paper. Oh, Carol, I'm glad you did find me. I don't mind strolls. Trolls. Oh, and I have a Facebook user, Melanie from West St. Paul, Canada. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Have another Facebook user who thinks this looks great. I think maybe that's Felicia. I don't know. It doesn't say, but welcome, welcome. Okay, this is a 3-inch by 4-inch piece. And you would think if you just try to do it like this, it's not going to work. You have to turn it a certain way to make it fit on that 3x4. But with a 12 by 12 piece of paper, making it a 3x4 means that you'll get a lot more out of your sheet than if you made this even a 1/4 inch bigger. That's too big. So the 3x4 just barely fits. I'll tell you that. But where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, here we go. We've got our second plate, which is our other piece of bread. Got your meat and cheese in the middle. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and go back through. The gold is a thinner paper, this distressed gold paper. So you probably don't have to go through it twice, but I usually do on the detailed dies. And we're just going to pull this off. You can see, I mean, it is like right on the edge there. And instead of poking all this out, we'll use the gold that I already have done. But I wanted to show you how to do that and how close that is. And also another tip, since the gold paper is a little more expensive, I mean, it's not bad for, I think it's just $5 for 2 sheets. So it's not bad at all. But what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to use just a little bit more. You can get this one other flower in that corner. You can see just the larger flower. You can't do the whole threesome or trio of flowers, but you can get that little one. And then go back through. So you've got the medium one that we can poke out in a minute. Let's see, get my take your pick tool. Didn't bring my other one in here. And these are ejection holes. So some of these are actually punching this gold stuff out, and some of them are actually just to help you get the die itself out. So all we have is a partial of that, which is plenty. We can still use that in places. Get our little hanging chads off of here. All right. And I would go back and go ahead and do this one little flower right there. You can see there's room. You just line that up where the head of that flower is at the top, and then you've got a little stem. Go ahead and do that too. And that way you have those little gold pieces that you can play with here and there if you want to. While you've already got your gold out, why not? Okay. I'm going to get this one out. And I would normally do this over my trash can, but you know, when you're on video, it just changes things up a bit. There you go. You just use your Take Your Pick tool to get that out of there. And there's that cute little flower. Pretty. This distressed gold paper is lovely, peeps. Lovely. Okay. I think that's all we need that. Now, so with the magic of television, here's our gold piece. We're going to pretend that we cut that all out a minute ago. Now we're going to get our little label. And this piece, let's go ahead. We're going to use Evening Evergreen for our greeting. And I decided to use something from the Ginkgo bundle for this card today. We'll grab our little Stampin' Pierce mat, and we're going to use Thinking of You, which is a very, very, very flexible greeting. Even if you wanted to send this to someone just to brighten their day, or it could be someone who's lost a family member or something, instead of saying with sympathy, you can say thinking of you. You could say thinking of you if somebody's just had a bad day or lost a job or anything. This card is just sure to brighten someone's day, don't you think? Okay, Thinking of You in Evening Evergreen. Get that cleaned off before we have permanently Evening Evergreen stamp, which really you won't, but I like to just clean them off when I can. All right, now on the one of the little squares, the one on the inside, we're going to stamp the little flower in Soft Succulent. If I haven't lost it, sitting in one spot. I've got mint macaron out. Could use that. Anybody see the Soft Succulent? Oh, I just opened it. Oh, good grief. I'm glad I watch other demonstrators' videos, so I know I'm not the only one who has this issue. And I don't know if it's all crafty people, if we're just a bit scattered. But I'd rather be creative and messy than not creative. How about y'all? Okay, we're going to just stamp a little flower in Soft Succulent. This is from that same kit. And if we want to match the inside, this will be a little different because I just left it really subtle on the first one. This way I'll show you. And I'm using the broad tip of the marker. And I'm just kind of going up a little bit on there with that. So instead of using the sponge dauber, that way we get to see the difference there also. Okay. Huff on the stamp to re-moisten it. I think I'm going to come off with the stems. Isn't that pretty? Very simple and subtle, but nice. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, I think that's all the stamping we have. We're ready to start assembly. Okay, this, I didn't bring my little cheat sheet in here with where the score marks are. This is 5.5 by 11. So it usually you make it 5.5 by 8.5. So this is taking most of a sheet of the 8.5 by 11 paper, but it is 5.5 by the full length of 11. So you're only going to get one out of each sheet. Okay, each 8.5 by 11 sheet. All right, and we have this one scored at 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. Okay, so you're writing that down: 1 3/4, 3.5, 5 1/4, and 7. Those are the score lines. All right, now we'll grab our bone folder. And this, the first one is going to be a mountain fold. So we're going like this, and always just check the sides just to make sure that this is lined up before you burnish it with your bone folder. Then we're going to go valley fold. And I'm going to burnish this both sides. Scooch my chair over. I need to be going this way, don't I? Hope y'all can see all right. Valley. And then we're going another mountain. Let's see, did we do this right? Oh, it's going to be this way. And this is a valley. Okay, so it's mountain, valley, mountain, valley. That's the way that fold goes. Okie dokie. Now we'll get our little silicone mat out so we don't get glue everywhere. And we're going to use these pieces of the texture chic paper, which I just think is lovely. This looks like jade. Reminds me of jade. How about y'all? All right. I think I'm going to use seal on this one. Hopefully we have enough in here. Otherwise, we'll switch to liquid. And with the seal, just make sure you're holding this bottom parallel to your work surface, and that it's a tape runner, so you have to break that tape at the end. Okay. And if you want these to match up, you should do what I just did not do. Let's see if we're still on board. Yes, we are. I tried to leave them in order, but this would be the way to kind of audition your pieces first. If you want them to be continuous, this is the way I cut them. Exactly. You cut the 5 3/8 first, and then you'll cut the 1. Let's get the ruler again. Make sure. 5 3/8, and this is 1 7/8, I believe. 5/8, 1 5/8. Okay. 1 5/8 by 5 3/8. 5 3/8 by 1 5/8. Hopefully I said that right. So make sure you keep these matched up. If you want it to be if it is from a continuous piece of paper, you might as well line it up. So you should have a little teeny tiny border all the way around. And you can see how that gold pattern now is continuous all the way across. Whoops, those 3 panels. Yes, that's correct. Okay, now we're going to just put this down. This is so gorgeous, this fine shimmer paper, that I just didn't do any stamping. I didn't do anything to cover this up because I just think it's gorgeous. So we're going to put that on the last panel, the back panel. Teeny tiny border all the way around. Oh, it feels so good. That's such pretty paper. What y'all think? Oh my goodness. Yes, I agree. That would be nice if it was much larger, the silicone mat. That's a great idea. We should put that in our Stampin' Up! Suggestion box. Okay, let's fold this one more time. It's still trying to not be very flat on me, but you've got so many folds. It's not going to be flat even when you open it, but that's okay. It's going to be gorgeous. Okay, next we have the other piece, and this comes out of your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You can get this piece, and you'll get a piece that's longer than that's the full 11 inches, and I cut it down to 6. So this is 6 by 3, and then it's scored at 3. You're not surprised to hear that, right? Thank you all for tuning in. Please let me know who you are when you come on, and comment, and let me know who you are and where you're from. Would love to chat with you. I try to watch the chat when I can, the comments coming through, and do this. You know, women are multitaskers, aren't we? Okay, now we're going to put this on this side. This is going to go on the front. We're going to fold this up. This is going to go on the front about halfway or so, and then we're going to glue it to here. All right. So you can make this come a little further. This part is up to you, because if you get it even, it's going to fold correctly whichever way you do it. But I would do your little auditioning of your pieces first and see kind of how you want this to be, because I kind of want to have room over here for this, and you can't have this hanging over the edge of the card. All right, so you think about that when you're adjusting that background piece, that 3-inch by 6-inch piece of the evening evergreen. Just think about that before you do it. So I'm going to put it a little further over to the left than centered would be. Okay, so what we'll do is we definitely want to, I think we want a little wiggle room on this. So I'm going to switch to liquid glue here so that I'm not, okay, now we're going to put it on the back here. We're just going to put it on this edge after we unclog our glue, hopefully. If not, I have a backup. And if your glue gets stuck, I just use these little fine tip containers. I transfer my liquid glue into here, whatever your favorite liquid glue is. Just kind of do it probably 3/4 of an inch or so. And I'm going to do this one first. And as I said, I'm doing it a little bit to the left of center, trying to get this straight. If I had grid paper, it would probably help. And then you put the glue. I get it exactly like I want it, so I know that this is going on the other flap. Can y'all see that? My hand's kind of blocking. I need to be ambidextrous. Let's see if I can glue it with my left so y'all can see better. There we go. Now I don't have my mat over there. Okay, laying that down. So you see what I did there? That way I know exactly where it's going to go. And I'm going to try to get that straight, so you still have a little wiggle room. So I'm comparing here to here, and I'm going to hold that a minute, kind of let that set a bit. See if that opens correctly. I believe it does. So let's let that set a minute more, and then we'll get our front ready. We're going to put this up on dimensionals. Anybody else come in new? Anybody have any questions about this or anything? And look again, kind of do your little auditioning dry fit. I should have moved it down just a bit. Dang it. I forgot about that. Well, I'm not going to mess up my paper now. So we may have the greeting hang off the bottom or hang off separately. I forgot about that part. See how this card, I moved this up a little bit so that I had room for my greeting. So the whole piece is further down. It's not in the middle. Probably would have helped to look at that first, but I did not. So we may just do this a different way. This may be just at the bottom and maybe just hanging off of the circle, and that works. Okay, so we don't want it on the top flower or this flower really. So everywhere else we can put a Stampin' Dimensional to hold this in place. Let's see if I can have one on this one. I'm not sure if I said I could or not. Yep. And you just don't want to put them where it's hanging off, but we want it to be stable everywhere as much as we can. So we'll put it low on that one. I'm going to see if that works before I take the backs off. Yep, I think we're good to go. So let's get, we'll just peel these, and you can use your little take your pick tool. If you kind of practice a little bit with this, you can take these off a little. Whoops, that was a little rough, Kelly. Ripped my flower right off. Be a little more careful. That was a little too much pressure. I haven't done this in a while, but I wanted to show y'all how to do that. So instead, I showed you how not to do it. So hang on to your paper. Don't be too rough if you're going to do this way. And there we go. If we can get that off of my finger, we'll get this mounted. Kind of like it about like that. And just make sure your dimensionals aren't showing anywhere, and they're not. Okay. And then we'll see if we, whoops, yes, they are right here. We're going to see if we can move this one without tearing the whole thing up. There we go. And here's where our little missing flower. I don't think you'll be able to tell that at all once we get it on there. If you can, we're just going to snip that part off. I don't think you can once we get our Wink of Stella on there. Okay. Now, let's do a little, speaking of Wink of Stella, I really like on these, can y'all see the detail on this on camera? Can you see the edge, how that's embossed? It has like a little ledge around it, and the die itself makes that happen. You don't have to go back and do that as another step. So grab your Wink of Stella, and we can really make that almost look like a layer, a separate layer. Oh, I may have grabbed an old Wink of Stella. Have a lot of these laying around that I keep because you can use them as a paintbrush, aqua painter, even after most of the shimmer's gone. We're getting a little out of here, but I hate to leave y'all again and go back to the other room. So we're going to make this work, but this is the way to go if you want a little shimmer around the edge of your label. So we'll let that dry a sec. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on. And I think I added a little water to this glue, and that looks a little runny. but hopefully it will work. If not, we'll do another one and use different glue. Use a Stampin' Seal. Okay, trying to get that border even all the way around. And like I said, this is the largest square in the Stylish Shapes dies. That you have the banners and the circles and the squares. All right. And if y'all need any of these products, just a reminder, if you go to my website, I would really appreciate it if you use the host code that's in the lower left-hand corner of your screen there, the DM2E3MHZ. That's my current host code, hopefully, unless I forgot to change it, which has happened. But you can always find the host code on my blog or website. You will always have it right by the shop button. Okay, I wanted to glue those together real quickly where that little bitty line was. Okay, that should be dried. We're ready with that. And we're going to do the other white one. We're going to glue it in here. I'm going to do the liquid on that too. Hope y'all get to craft this weekend. I get to craft a lot more too. This, you need to make sure that it is lined up where it's going to be covered with the front piece. So I could just kind of laid it in there before I really stuck it. And you want to make sure when you pick it up, yep, all covered, all good. So then you use your little pressure and seal that down with your liquid glue or Stampin' Seal, whichever one works for you. And we're ready for the next step. Now we get to use let's go ahead and get this guy on. And I have found on this particular die, and doing it this way, I just stick the dimensionals here on the paper. I know I want it toward the bottom here. So I'm just sticking these on instead of trying to guess on the die cut itself. I am just putting it on the paper. So this one, as I said, is going to be lower than that other one. So I'm going to try to center this where I have about the same amount of space. See, from this little notch to the green and that little notch to the green. And if you don't stick it down really hard on the dimensionals, you can still move it. So I think that's about right. So there we go. There's that. And it's not as shiny as my first one. You can see if you use a lot of Wink of Stella, it really shows up quite a bit more. Whoops, and we haven't done our gold yet. We might want to let's just take that off. We're going to take that off and come back. We're going to do our gold. Show you how to do that. So the detailed die comes out in one piece like this. And I just kind of figured out how I wanted to do it. I wanted some gold here on this one, and I kind of thought this would be pretty freestanding, and those were easy to snip. So I just snipped that right at the bottom, right at the base. And if you do adhesive sheets on this, it would be tough on this because you'd have to figure out strategically how to get the sheet off of the back on part of it and not on the other part. So to me, it was easier just to glue exactly where I wanted to glue. So I'm just gluing the base of this part here and not going all the way up to the top, but you could. We can go to the top. Okay. So I didn't put any on this gold flower because it's going to be kind of freestanding. And I just kind of angled it, see where it looks like you've got a stem behind that other flower. And these don't match up exactly. They're not supposed to. So don't worry about it. Just kind of go freestyle. Or as Sharon Armstrong says, go rogue. All right. now we're going to kind of curve around to match that curve of that flower. And y'all can do this however you want. It's not a big deal. Let's kind of see. This is kind of where I had that one. I think that stem is just a little long there. Okay, and this one is pretty much all can be put flat, except maybe that last little hoochie on that side. I think, if I have my sides right, we'll see. Let's move that down just a little bit. There we go. I like the way that ended up. Okay. Now, you know that cute little bitty flower that we had earlier? See, this one, that was from the smaller die, not from the one big die that we're just cutting from now. I'm just going to snip some of this off. And we're going to put him like right here, because that bottom one's going to be covered up, right? So we're going to put him there. And if y'all didn't want to do this detail of the gold, or you didn't have this distressed gold paper, you could probably use the gold, the fine glimmer paper in the gold. It's a much softer gold. This is a brighter gold and really matches this really well in the texture sheet paper. That's why I chose it. Okay, we're going to, let's see. We use this one big one here. See, I'm just snipping off the stems there so that if you want to use the stem with the other part, I know I'm not using it on this one, so I'm just going right up next to the body of the blossom. And you can see here I've got a little errant stem sticking out, so I'm going to get rid of him. And I'm going to put this, we may do this one last. See, I've kind of got it at a different angle than I did the other one. So we want to glue it where it goes like this, and then it could come here on that, which means we probably need to dimensional this. Does that make sense? So you're kind of just auditioning your pieces, trying to figure out where they should go. And I do believe that's going to have to be minis, or we're going to cut. We're just going to cut a little piece of this that's not quite as wide and stick this on back here. So always use those edge pieces. You pay for them, you might as well use them. They're not wasted just because they're not in a little hexagon like everything else does. Nobody knows that. It's on the back. Doesn't matter. Hi, Melanie. Don't put gold on first. Are you talking about this particular piece? I'm not sure. Or maybe I missed that earlier when I made a mistake and you probably caught me and I didn't even realize it. Okay, we're going to go. So I want this hanging over. You know what? That's up a little high. So let's pull that down just a tad bit. Now we've got it about where we want it, I think. Yay. Thanks, Melanie. I'm glad you've tuned in. Thanks for warning me. Yes, a little late when I see the comment late, right? Thanks a lot for tuning in, and thanks for your tips. I always appreciate that, especially when I see them in time. But yeah, if you don't stick everything down exactly right away, then it gives you a little more wiggle room. Like I said, I'm going to move that one more time again. I'm going to wear these dimensionals out on her. Hopefully they're not sticking down the bottom. Nope, can't see them. Yay. Okay. I think we need at least one more in here. One or two. Let's see what we want. Maybe one of those. That would be nice. Right there. And we'll start with the stem, and then if we don't like the stem, we don't have to keep it. We can take it off. We're just going to go right around here and stick that right there. You just kind of want to make sure you're paying attention to balance, and so you don't have too many of the same size in a certain spot, and you don't want this liquid glue to go on top of your gold. But at least it's not a flat gold. It is distressed, so it's a little bit different than working with some of the golds that really, if they're shiny, it's a little, it shows glue more. This one doesn't show glue as much, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, we've kind of got, it seems like I might need another one over here. What do y'all think? Move that just a teeny bit more, get that behind there. I like that better tucked. Okay, do we want one of these? One of those? What about our other little flower that we snuck out of our gold earlier? I think those two are too close together. Maybe we're good to go. I think maybe we're good to go. We're going to get our little gold on here. And that way we have this gold for another card. Oh, no, we don't have it for another card. We're going to use that on the inside. As you can see here, we're going to use that over here. So let's go ahead and play with those. And you could put a little grouping. You just have to leave room to write a message if you want to write your name here and another message over here, whatever you want to do. But that's kind of pretty with that group of three. Let's do it a different way on this card. Because why not? We're creating it. Nobody's telling us what's right or wrong. That's what's awesome about crafting and getting to do Stampin' Up. I love to host Create with Kelly Crew paper crafting experiences here at the house and online, just to show you that it's allowed for you to play. Yours doesn't have to look like mine. Mine can just inspire you and give you an idea of what you can do. So we're going to do it this way. It would be totally up to y'all. So this, it probably would have worked to have the adhesive sheet, but I just decided it was better to go ahead and put the little tiny dots of glue, and that way I could have some parts sticking up and some parts not. Let's see. Got to hang on to it, Kelly. All right. I think we're good to go. And I'm just going to kind of make those stems come off of the bottom. Just tap that down as if they're growing out of that corner. Here's where we got a little glue. We'll fix that in a little bit. Yay! Okay, embellishments, and that's it. I think these are called adhesive backed pastel sequins, but somehow I lost the little doohickey that tells me that. I know these are in the mini catalog. If anybody has one handy and wants to post that item number, that'd be great. How did I get a hair back there? Don't know. Okay, and I use my Take Your Pick tool. I use the putty end of it to get my embellishments to go where I want them to go. And I'm going to go ahead and use these bigger ones. We got a lot of gold, so why not? Go big or go home, right? There we go. And Melanie, where are you from? Glad to have you on, watching on Facebook. We've got Carol on YouTube and Melanie on Facebook. And both of y'all are new to my channel, I guess, or you're new to commenting. So I'm really, really glad to have you on here. All right. Now I think all we need is a little Wink of Stella on these top flowers and we are good to go. See how this shows here? Isn't that pretty? So you could make another one kind of come off if you wanted, but I kind of like the way that works. They're just right above the sentiment label. I'd love to have another one kind of coming down like this. Wouldn't that be pretty? I'm afraid it would get torn up though. Logistically, probably not the best idea, but we can always try it and try opening and closing the card a couple of times and see what that does. Let's see how we would do it. Cut that off a little more. Let's try it, shall we? We're putting the glue on the top here because I'm going to put it underneath. I'm going to attach it to the bottom of this layer. Hopefully we have enough in there to hold it. Oh, isn't that pretty? Look how that makes that shadow on the, y'all might not be able to see that, but I can see the shadow. See that on the paper? Yeah, there you go, a little bit of shadow. Isn't that pretty? Woo, I like it. So if it gets torn off the first, because you know these people are going to put this on their mantle. They're going to open it up and leave it where everyone can see it because it means how they are really, really, really special to receive a card like this, right? Yes, thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. That's all you have to do is go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and that will allow me to see your name when you make a comment. So I'm thrilled to have you do that, Melanie. Okay, that's our card. What do you think? Y'all like it today? Here's the full card open, and here's the one that is closed. So which one do y'all like better? Do you like it with the dark? Oh, we haven't done our Wink of Stella. Hang on. Let's get that. Not fair to compare yet. And I would just kind of go a little bit at the bottom. Like I said, I picked the wrong Wink of Stella. It is just about gone. And I don't know how much that shows on camera anyway, but I would go in there and just daub it around kind of at the base of all the flowers on there, or buds, blossoms, whatever you call them on Ginkgo. All right, here we go. Do y'all have any other questions? If you are interested, thank you. Glad you like it. I do appreciate you tuning in. And thank you, Melanie. I'm glad. I don't know how you found me, but I'm glad you did. If y'all have any questions or if you want to send me a private message, I can send you the information about this class where you'll get a class kit. You'll get like a quarter pack of the texture paper. You get a small pack of some of these papers that you can play with other cards with this design of the Ginkgo branch. So I'm happy to help you with that and send you a special invitation if y'all are interested in finding more about that class. And I do have other classes coming up this month. I have, let's see, the 26th, I will have a techniques class. If y'all are in the Lubbock area, I have that, an advanced techniques class. And then on the 20th, I have an intermediate class. And then next week, the 16th, I'll have a beginner class at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. So would love to have y'all join. If you're in the Lubbock area, would love to have you come to those. And if you're not, I offer classes to go. So let me know what you're interested in. I'm happy to help. If you need any products or anything, like I said, just go to my website and please use the host code. That's what helps me earn products that I can show you on videos and keep those free. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Y'all have a great day. I haven't seen any other questions, so y'all have a wonderful week. I appreciate it. Let's turn this all the way up. There we go. All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Whoops, let me do that. And then we will, nope, don't see any more comments. So thanks again. I'm Kelly Pitts, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Lubbock, Texas. And I love doing fun folds. I love trying new things and doing some techniques and showing you. So thanks a lot for your input on this card. And I'm really glad you enjoy it. Would love to help you make one of your own. Have a great week. Fun times ahead. Bye-bye.